South Carolina. Nikki can't get any love in South Carolina either. Let me ask you, why are you guys MAGA? Why are you Trump? Why do you support Trump so much?
Liberty and justice for all.
Amen. That's what he's not getting. Is it crazy? Hey,
Close the borders! Close the borders!
Close the borders!
Get the out of here! We do not like the propaganda. We're here for the truth.
That's it.
Get Sleepy Joe out of here! Get Sleepy Joe out of here! He's got to go!
About CNN, MSNBC, all of the other a lot of people think the country's gone, that the next generation, your generation, isn't smart, is all brain dead. What do you tell them?
I'll tell you what. There's a lot of propaganda going on. There's only real people out here that understand the real media.
Yeah.
We understand the truth. We like people that are truthful.
All right, so no.
We speak for the truth.
That's it, man. That's it. That's all right, no pressure. No.
So I got to tell you, that video right there made me smile. It made me happy. Happy to see a large group of young men so enthusiastic about a person, that person being Donald Trump. Now, like I always say when I bring up Trump, I was never a huge Trump fan or Trump supporter, but if it's Trump or Biden, you know I'm going with Trump. These young men know what's happening. They know the mainstream liberal media is pushing propaganda for the Democratic Party. These young men know that Joe Biden is fried. He's done. He's history. He is not making it to the finish line. And they know our country is a laughingstock and it's going in the toilet because of weak Democrat policies that do nothing for the American people but do everything for illegal immigration and foreign countries. Okay? But there's a catch. Joy Behar, one of the main chickens on The View, I like to call them the windbags. She basically was offended by those young men supporting Trump. She hates Trump. She thinks everybody's a MAGA extremist. Anybody on the right is an extremist, according to Joy Behar. And what she says, I basically laugh at. But these women on The View are so ridiculous that they'll talk about anything just to bash Trump and the Republican Party as a whole. But the show, I'm going to show you a clip from their show, but the show wasn't all about that. They were talking about how Jon Stewart is back on the air, and Jon Stewart was comparing the old man Biden against old man Trump. And we have to agree. Trump is 77, Biden is 81. They're old. Neither one of them should be in the White House. But if it has to be an old man, it cannot be Joe Biden. So watch this clip, and then we're going to talk about it some more.
For the first time since 2015, Jon Stewart is apparently back in the anchor chair of The Daily Show last night to put his spin on the state of the presidential race. Take a look.
What the are we doing here, people? These two candidates, they are both similarly challenged. And it is not crazy to think that the oldest people in the history of the country to ever run for president might have some of these challenges. Now, Democrats will say that any criticism like this, especially of Biden, is unfair because you just don't know Biden like they know Biden.
I was in almost every meeting with the president, and the president was in front of and on top of it all.
Did anyone film that? So when it comes to Republicans, they've got a different strategy for their 77-year-old candidate.
Well, first of all, Donald Trump is not an old man.
He's an old man! He is objectively an old man! They are the oldest people ever to run for president, breaking by only 4 years the record that they set!
So a lot of people are happy to see him back. What do you think about his take on everything?
I'm so excited he's back. I never stay up that late, and I did to watch him come back. He's still got it. I love that he takes shots at both sides. And listen, he's underscoring an issue that we've talked about at this table a lot. A lot of us are never going to agree on this, but I feel like he makes this point in it, which I've tried to make before, which is democracy is on the line in this election. Donald Trump is the most dangerous president of all of our lifetimes. And Democrats have made that their crowning campaign message. So that means that Joe Biden should be open to the most scrutiny because it is the stakes are so high in this race. So I think it's a legitimate issue. Hillary Clinton came out this week and said Biden's age is a legitimate issue. Nobody is arguing his accomplishments. He has delivered. He has a legislative record. But it comes down to, is he the strongest person to beat Trump? And I'm not convinced he is.
At the risk of being repetitious about this topic, because it doesn't stop, you have, on the one hand, you've got a guy, Biden, how old is he, 81?
81.
And so he stammers. He's had a stammer all his life. I think that's part of the reason he sometimes looks a little doddering. He's trying to get the words out. The guy has accomplished a lot. I don't want to repeat all the things he's done for Americans already. On the other hand, you basically have a 77-year-old criminal who only cares about getting out of jail, okay? And I wasn't here yesterday because all weekend I was ruminating about what he said about getting us out of NATO. I don't think that people understand what that means. You know, I saw this video of all these young MAGA guys celebrating Trump and well, you know what? You guys will be draft age. You want to start up with the Russians going into Ukraine and then to Crimea and then to Poland. What's next? France, Germany, Italy? You think Americans are not going to be involved in that kind of a war? That's what you're looking at with this guy. You know, I mean, I hate to bring up Hitler, but before Hitler became powerful, he stuck his little toe in. And the Brits and the Americans, everybody appeased him and said, he's not going to get worse. And then they gave over the Sudetenland to him. And then the next thing you know, he's invading Poland. And then he's occupying France. And then he gets Mussolini on his side. This is what Putin is going to do. It's very, very urgent that we not elect this man. It's not just about us. It's not about just the economy. It's about the world's geopolitical issue.
Well, that's precisely my point.
And these boys who are 13, 14, 15, they will be the ones to go. They will have the draft back again. I lived during the Vietnam War. My husband now had to join the National Guard to get out of it because, and those poor boys came back with Agent Orange, all sorts of...
My dad fun.
And there you have it. I quite frankly don't think that they're glad that Jon Stewart is back on the air because he tells it like it is. He's not shy. He holds nothing back. And Alyssa Farah, of course, stayed up late to watch him. No one cares, Alyssa Farah, how late you stay up or how early you go to bed. But she did say, and I agree, that Jon Stewart was poking fun at Biden and Trump because they are old. Okay? Biden is so old, he can't even remember what he did 5 minutes ago. And Trump is old, and Trump just needs to, in my opinion, put the millions of supporters he has behind a younger candidate that we can hopefully put in the White House. But because Donald Trump has such a huge ego, we know he'll never do that. But Joy Behar, you heard her. Biden, yes, he stammers a little bit, and he's been doing that his whole life, but she doesn't want to get into all of his accomplishments and all the good that he has done for the American people. No. She doesn't want to get into it because there's nothing good to say. He has accomplished nothing for the American people. He's accomplished everything for illegal migrants, and he's accomplished everything for the Ukraine. He's accomplished zero, in my opinion, for the American people. You know it, I know it, and Joy Behar knows it. So again, she can't name any accomplishments. But then she said, Donald Trump is a 77-year-old criminal just trying to stay out of jail. That's funny because as of right now, we know of all these indictments and all that nonsense. He hasn't been convicted of anything. So her saying he's a criminal, is bullshit. Joe Biden has a list as long, probably longer than a mile, with all of his backdoor shady deals while he was in the Senate, while he was in the vice presidency, with the documents he had in his garage near his Corvette and several other places, classified military documents while he was a civilian. But they're not going to bring charges against him because he's too old and he's forgetful. So if Joy Behar is going to call Trump a criminal, she needs to call Biden a criminal, along with his son Hunter, who put together most of the deals to funnel money into the Biden regime. We all know it's true. It's not hidden. It's out there. Look it up. These women, I say this every time I talk about them, there is no way they are not being paid by the DNC to spew their propaganda and hate against Donald Trump and the Republican Party. There is no way. That's all they do. They bash, 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 and they can get away with saying anything. But if somebody on the right goes out and starts talking about Biden, all of a sudden, oh my God, how dare you talk about this wonderful President Biden? Okay, there's a two-tier system with these people. What the Democrats say is okay. What the Republicans say, how dare you say that? It's absolute nonsense, but that's all we see on the mainstream liberal media. The CNN, the MSNBC, you know what I'm talking about. It's on every day, and all they do is bash the Republican Party. Everybody's a MAGA extremist, and everybody needs to go to jail. Okay. But the one thing that Behar said that pissed me off the most, and it should piss off millions of American people, she compared Trump to Hitler. And this is not the first time she has done this. But no one says a word. No one says a word. Hitler was a murderous dictator. They know it, and we all know it. Who did Trump kill? Who did Trump put in concentration camps? No one. You know why? Because it's all bullshit. But they have nothing else to talk about. They hate Donald Trump so much that they're not going to look at all the failures of the Biden administration. They're willing to sacrifice, which they're not sacrificing much because they're all being paid a fortune to be on that ridiculous talk show. So they're not worried about high prices or inflation. They're not worried about illegal immigration. And they're not worried that Biden has given Ukraine over $100 billion. They're not worried at all. They could care less because they can afford the basic things, while the rest of us have to work hard and struggle so these windbags can spew their hate about a person or a certain party. Trump is Hitler in Joy Behar's eyes, okay? These women are part of the downfall of America because, again, I'll say it again, and I'm sorry, and I know you're probably tired of hearing it. There's no way that they're not funded by the DNC or some other big Democrat super PAC that is paying them to talk trash against Donald Trump. Because all the old women, the old liberals who watch them, oh yes, you're so right, you're so right. Donald Trump, the orange man, he's bad. Remember, he used to put out tweets and they offended me. If you're offended by words, I got no use for you. The Democratic Party has no backbone. Joe Biden has no backbone. Donald Trump may be old, but he's coherent and he's got balls. And he's not afraid to talk to world leaders in a manner where don't fuck with the USA, because if you do, you're going to pay the ultimate price. Joe Biden, on the other hand, gives them everything they want. He doesn't care that our troops are out in the Middle East somewhere. He doesn't care that he's probably going to start World War III one day, God forbid, but before he leaves office, because he doesn't even know what the hell is going on. But all the liberals the mainstream media and those windbags on The View keep pushing their propaganda because all the liberal whites love them. They love them, and they think they're so wonderful, and they believe every word that rolls out of their mouths. When I know, and I'm sure you know, they are full of shit. They're covering for the failures of the Biden administration, and they're scared that Donald Trump may get back in the White House and bring this country back to where it should be. Then we'll really all see that all the shit they spewed about Biden being so wonderful was all false. America is turning into a third world country under the Biden administration, and those women are determined to see it through because they're going to keep lying for these people and keep pushing their propaganda until God knows what. Okay? She's triggered by college-age men supporting the right or the Republicans. She's triggered because Jon Stewart is back on the air. She's triggered this. She's offended by that. And she went on to say, and her current husband joined the National Guard so he wasn't drafted. Because she's saying these young men may be drafted someday. Well, apparently, your husband is spineless. He joined the Guard so he didn't have to fight for his country. Okay? Back in the Vietnam era. That's my take on it. She's married to a spineless liberal man who probably bows to everything she says, and he can't do anything unless she gives him permission. That's what those women are all about, especially Sunny Hostin. Unfortunately, she didn't have much to say in that clip, if anything, so I can't really go off on her, but you know how I feel about her too. And that's it. They're ridiculous, it's nonsense, and we need to move this country in the right direction, and the windbags on The View are not helping at all. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.